Hi, it's Dawn. Welcome back. I'm playing in my big 9x12 handmade journal, and I've taped off a piece of a spread here in my book, and I'm debating between playing around with this palette and this palette. I may go with this one. I was going to just do some concentric circles and then some doodles within those circles, so this would be kind of, step one, as it were. I think I am going to play with the blue and the greens. I think I'll just go ahead and get ready with both. I'm using a number 10 Escoda brush, and then this is a mixture of a whole lot of paint. It's Daniel Smith. I do not have it labeled. This is a plate from the dollar store. Oh goodness, look at there. Okay, that's something to be addressed. And I think I just want to swirl some paint on paper, and I don't know that I want to be real precise about it, and I've never done this before, so I'm not real sure how this is going to go, but I'm really used to doing the lines going across and so forth, and part of me is tempted to do that again. But you know what, instead of using this brush, now that I'm sitting here talking out loud, what if I use I've got a flat brush. I think this is a 1-inch. Yeah, this is a 1-inch. I think I'd rather, I don't know. That's too big. Too big. All right. No to that flat brush. Do I have some smaller ones? I do. I've got this 3/4 inch here. I thought I had a half over here. I do. Yeah, this is a big piece of paper, and as Bob Burge would say, don't use tiny brushes on big pieces of paper. And if y'all don't know who that is, he is a treasure and a wonderful man to watch. Go watch him. Okay, well, plan B, what is it? I don't know. Do I really want to do a round brush for circles? I'm thinking this 3/4 inch might have to be what we do. Okay, so let's just so this plate has got a little bit of everything on it. I've got greens over here, I've got blues over here, and I really couldn't tell you what these are. That looks like phthalo turquoise right there. That looks like something with a bit of a shimmer to it. We're not gonna analyze it. We're just gonna have some fun, because chances are you've got something similar somewhere. And why am I being such a wuss to spray this stuff down and activate it? I don't know. So we're going to spray it down and let it all kind of run into the middle a little bit. I love this part. Look at this. Let me scooch it this way a little bit. Watch this. Why is that so satisfying? And why did I get my book wet? All right. Let's see what we can come up with here. So let's do this. Let's put, I'm going to get my tester pad over here, and just so I can keep this. Ooh, I'm making a little puddle here in the middle. Ooh, all right. Here we go, folks. Stop talking about it, start doing it. Yes, ma'am. I really want fairly pigmented and not watered down. So what I might do here is don't think I want to do wet on wet though. I think I really want to do wet on dry. Like I said, I haven't done this before, so I'm using it's a 3/4 flat. Let's just drop a whole lot of pigment into this. See how that dries it down. We're just kind of grabbing a whole bunch of pigment from all around the plate. Ooh, oh well, here, there's some, it's talking there. All right, now let's go to the next circle. Now let's make this one kind of skinny-ish. I'm gonna pull some of that up. I am not happy with all that indigo in there. You get over there. We don't need that much indigo in there. We're looking for some fun colors. Indigo is a serious color. Indigo would like to have fun. It doesn't know how. All right, let's grab a little bit more color. We'll do some wet on wet in here. Just have a little play, right? Okay. I'm nervous. I usually have done these things a few times before I turn the camera on. Not today. We are going for broke. All right, let's grab some of this color. I don't even know what this color is. Let's go a little different shape, a little different size rather. We're gonna do the same shape because these are circles after all, right? Right. All right, Indigo, I can let a little of you come over here now. But you're just not gonna take over the party, right? And I'm going to try to leave some space for doodling in between. I have no idea what your color is, but we're going to add you to the mix and see what we can get happy about you. Okay, I'm liking this flat brush for this. The idea that's in my head, the flat brush is helping me do it. I don't know if this is what I'm going to like when it's done. All right, let's go for another ring. Try some of this. Little bit of this. Now let's go try to go wide on this guy, like the full width of this 3/4 and see what she's got. Wow. This is a Simply Simon's brush, by the way, for those who are not familiar with the brand. It's a very inexpensive brush. I got mine at a local art store, but I think Michael's carries it in the event you need a flat brush. I am not telling you to go out and buy the brush to do this technique. Use what you have. Do not consume if you don't have to. Well, don't let me tell you what to do, but I'm trying not to consume if I don't have to. Of course, have to is relative. I had to have that pair of shoes last night because they were too cute. All right, add a little green over here. So blue and green work really well together because they are next to each other on the color wheel. They're neighbors, they're friendly, they like each other. We like that for them. Ooh, it feels like a Prussian blue in there. I want this to be kind of watery and organic looking with not many harsh lines, and here I have harsh lines. All right. Okay, let's go with, I don't even know what this color is, but let's go thin again. Oh my, that one came to be serious. And I've taped down the book so that, and I'm just going over the tape like it wasn't there. Because I want it to look, first of all, it's easier to trace. It's easier to draw your circles when you are completing the circle in one motion, like I just did. It's so much easier to do it that way. And if you just ignore the tape at this stage of the game, I think you're going to be very happy with the results, and it'll be, and then you can, when you take the tape off, it'll go with the tape. I kind of have that centered a little north, more north than it should be. My book is bowing a little, so I'll hold it down. All right, now I'm just going to introduce some other colors while it's still damp. I think that makes it more interesting than the single color. Including some of those darker pigments. Those are good too. Just whatever you feel like. See, like this doesn't feel like it's dark enough to me. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and just complete these rings up here. Oh, that's boring. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm working out of the Creative Abstract Watercolor book. There is a page in here, or a section in here, that is called Concentric Circles, and it tells you step by step how to do what I'm doing. But just because it's on paper doesn't mean you can do it. Not that you can't do it, but it's like, it's not intuitive necessarily. you just go, well, okay, what's next? And I just closed it. Didn't mean to close the book. All right, next, let's do another fatty. Why is my iPad kicking in and kicking out? Stop it. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of grab some colors now and go bloop. Oh, we like that color. Yes, we do. Y'all, I found a fabric store yesterday that I didn't know existed. And I walk in, and it looks like one of those places that's really small looking on the outside. It doesn't, I mean, it just doesn't look big. Like, you know your local box stores, they look big. And this looks like a really small former house in a way. And you walk in, and it is deceptively from the outside looking in, you think it's way tinier than it is. You get inside, and you're just like, it keeps going and going. It was absolutely yummy. For a person like me who loves colors, I was just walking around going, oh my goodness, I have died and gone to fabric color heaven. Now, I don't sew. I use fabric as part of my journal making and my general craft making. That was not a good move there, Mosley. Oh well. Okay, and I went kind of off camera on that. But it was, so when I consume, I'm trying to consume now locally, small business meaning, and I found this place by accident. Well, it's not exactly true, but it's not important. The details are irrelevant. Seek out local places, local art supplies, local fabric stores, local mom and pop stationery stores. I mean, do what you want, but that's what I'm doing, and I encourage you to as well. We need to support the people who are working alongside us every day, right? Okay, so now the plan is let this dry, and then we'll come back and do the next step, which I lost the page, but I think the next step is to add doodles, which I love doodling, so this is right up my alley. And I completely lost my spot. And this book, again, not trying to influence you to buy this book, but yeah, so step 1, paint, and then, oh no, step 2, I'm going to come back and do, once the first layer is dry, we add a second layer. This will be adding water spots, drawing circles, so we'll come back and we'll do layer 2. Anyway, if you don't have this book and you're looking for something, it might be the ticket for you. All right, back soon. Okay, she's dry now, so we're gonna go in here, and now I've got my round brush, my Escoda 10, and I'm just gonna start doing, like, I don't know, like some drops, especially like right here where it's really dark, kind of uneven. Do some like droplets. Just kind of play with some water texture. I've seen this done, but I've never really done much of it. I like the big drops though, not the little bitty ones. So that's what I'm trying to kind of do, is just keep big drops here. I might even take a pipette. One of these guys. This might be easier. Oh yeah, I like that. All right, so we did some drops, and that way we'll get a little bit of maybe a little bit of blooming. Now maybe I'll take my brush, and this paint is dried, but I'm gonna grab some here in the middle, and then I'm gonna make like some little donuts out of paint, varying the color and the whether it's wet or dry, not wet or dry, but like with color or just with water. Boy, I can talk today, I promise. The point of this is just to create layers of texture. That always makes things more interesting, right? Clothing, fabric, art, food. Some people have texture aversions, you know, like some people won't eat beans, or they won't eat things that feel weird on their tongue. For me, I won't eat bananas. Feels weird. All right, there's that. I'm just kind of glancing at the book. Okay, and then one of the other suggestions it makes is just to make little dots, like here, I guess. Probably ought to use a filbert instead of a round, because the tip on this is pretty tippy. Ooh, don't flip the book. But we're just going to go with it. I don't want to go dig out a filbert. I've got one somewhere. Not sure this is my favorite. I think I enjoyed the squares more than these circles, but you know, you just got to play with. This is called watercolor play. The point is to get out of your comfort zone, I think, and I think maybe I'll do some bigger. Okay, fine. Get a filbert. Here we go. I just grabbed this. It's over here. It's a Cotman 1/2-inch filbert. It's in my little jar right here to the side. Ooh, there's glue stuck to it. Yuck. All right, let's see if a filbert will make some of these circles a little easier. Let's do. I just don't feel like it will. I kind of like the center part of these plates when they get like this. Because you just don't know. You just don't know what you're gonna get, you know. I want to get some darker colors in here. So this is not all homogenized. I don't know if the filbert's better or not. And that's the other thing about doing these little exploratory moments is you get to use your brushes and figure out what they are capable of doing. All right, well, let's keep going. Let's grab some ultramarine and some of this. I think this is cerulean. My book is bowed a little bit. I really ought to get out a bowl clip, but I don't know where I put them. Don't you hate it when you do that? You clean up so good you forget where you put the new stuff in the new location. Oh well. I almost want to take a Q-tip, but nope. I'm trying to be true to the process. Trust the process. These feel really clunky and bulky. I'm going to go back to the round. Oh yeah, I think I like that better. Yep, I like the round bit. Well, I kind of flubbed that one up, but I feel like the water, the gravity kind of automatically creates a really nice circle, because if you have enough water in your brush, then it kind of just drops down, and not kind of, it does just drop down, and there, see, pick up a little pigment. grab some water, and then carefully get to your spot. Now I've got a really 3D water droplet there. Okay, I didn't grab enough water there. Let's grab some pigment, grab some water. I almost didn't make that. Huh. Okay, this is fun. We're experimenting. Pigment, then water. That's what I've been doing so far. Oh, what a mess this little toothpick has made. When the cerulean came out, it was all separated, and I used a toothpick, but then I left it in the goo. And now it really is gooey. Okay, this booger over here not being flat is really bothering me, but we're gonna carry on here. Boom. Let's get some lighter blues going on here. Those are dry lighter too, by the way. You probably knew that already, but just bears repeating. Okay. Don't want them to be too uniform either. Oh, and that slid to Jones's. What are you going to do? Not use so much water? That's what you're going to do. Okay. Now, what do we want to do now? I think maybe we'll do I'm just kind of glancing at some of the patterns that she made in this book to see if there's anything here. Raindrop spots to the white area to create more subtle. Yep, I got that. Oh, I did more than raindrop. Oh, she did some dashes. That's kind of cool looking. Okay. So we're going to get rid of our pigment and we're just going to do water. We're going to do stripes in the ring. How about we do stripes here? That's cool. And I think the thing about this whole little thing is you take the suggestions and you just modify it to your situation. Now I know when I've used, like when I'm doing stuff with Tim Holtz's ink, that one of my favorite techniques with some of his distress inks is I will take water and splatter it on the ink when it's dry or wet, doesn't matter, and mostly when it's dry, and then I will wait like, I don't know, a minute, 30 seconds, whatever, and then I go back and I blot it with a paper towel. And when you do that, it lifts so nice. It's really a fun little effect. But it seems like in this little exercise that you don't lift anything, you just let it dry. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm thinking about if I want to do, now some of these other things that are added with pen work. So I think we're going to let this dry and dry down, and then let the next phase be some pen work on it. But I was going to try to lift it up here a little bit so you can see a little closer kind of what's going on with see how some of those water droplets are kind of 3D-ish looking? They're really standing up on top in that ring. And then you can see the drops of water there and the stripes of water on that third row. And these little donuts dried nicely already, because I barely used any color on them. So we're gonna come back and do it next phase. Okay, so now we're gonna just do a little bit of doodling. I think here we're just gonna make some white and black embellishments, doodles, whatever. These are like just little white dots. I'm using my Uniball Signo broad white, and then probably let that dry a little bit actually before I add any I'm gonna do a lot of really close polka dots on this one. Just see what this does. Probably do it in all four, honestly. All four corners. I'll let that middle section dry. I'm not sure I'm going to do these though, that way. I'll probably do something different down here. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Maybe some, I don't know, maybe some stripes, like, alright, let's do some stripes here maybe. Just some really wide ones though. I think I wish I'd have placed that a little bit more center so that my circles were a little more uniform, but it's okay. Ooh, kind of went completely wild on that one. Okay, that's that one. All right, now let's come back with the black pen. This is an 02 micron. I really kind of wish I had an 05, but I'm not seeing it right off top. So we're just going to do, oh no, I think I like the 02. Just going to make some circles around those white dots. And you know, this whole little doodling process could be just whatever you want. I'm just kind of following along in the book, but if you don't like black, use purple, use pink, use gold. I'm not really looking at the book anymore. I'm just kind of doing the lines I like to do. I tend to like to do polka dots. Those are a fave. These dried down, kind of texturized. Those ones that were kind of those big 3D dots of water, they dried down quite textured. It's kind of fun. Wow, this is an 02. I'm glad I didn't use the 5. This is a lot of black. The line, I mean, is very bold. More bold than I would have thought. I'm glad I just grabbed the two. Serendipity, you might say. want to flip the book around and get a better position for my wrist, but I'm just not going to do it. There's nothing wrong with my wrist. It's just, you know, there's that comfort position that you get in. And I'm wishing I could do that, but I really don't want to flip the book around this time. I will in the future. Yep, deep breath. A nice exhale is always a good thing. Yeah, I'm liking where this is going. Okay, so now I'm grabbing a slightly bigger pen. This is a Uniball Signo. I don't even know what size it is. It just says Impact. I don't know. 207. What I'm gonna do is take a variety of pens here. I've got the white one, the black Micron. I thought I had another Micron around here somewhere, but I must have misplaced it. And just gonna kind of doodle and do some things and just kind of do what I do, which is I don't like thinking about stuff too much. I just I'm going to play around with different mark making, and I don't have any predetermined ideas or patterns in mind. I do tend to do them in like sets of 5, like here when I'm doing these little dashes. And this line might be too fat. I might not be too crazy about this line, honestly. But I'm just gonna kind of make some marks. I was thinking maybe this line would be good for this size pen. Maybe I should grab a different one. Would be good for like making like some dots, because I made dots with watercolor. I'm gonna grab another pen that's over here. I keep this is another pile of pens. These are 5s. Oh, here's my 5. This one is a yeah. I think this is the. I'm gonna think of it in a second. Well, I guess I'm not. These are dupes. But then I got a Sharpie marker here and a Faber-Castell Pitt pen. So, you know, just keep a variety of black markers around for these types of things. Let me... I do apologize. That was rude not to mute the phone or the camera. Let's just see if we can do some dotting here. I'm actually doing little circles, but I think in some cases you could just do, you could just press the tip of the pen to the paper and get whatever mark that might create for you. Yeah, kind of liking that. And then what else could we do? Let's try this Faber-Castell. This has got a chisel tip on it. So this last one, this Sharpie, it just has like a brush tip on it. I've just recently got these, and I've had them, well, say recently, like in the last 6 months. I don't know that I've really played with these that much, these Sharpies. Now the Pitt pens I've had for a while. Also, again, use your stash in 2025. But this particular one, the tip of it will tell you it's a chisel. So that you know that you're dealing with that, so that when you go to make marks, if you want chisel marks, I'm not sure if I do here or not. I may go, not so much, but it's here in case I want it. But I'm gonna go back to finishing up this little mark making patch, and I'm gonna probably continue it on up here and here, so there's some continuity. But you don't have to, because they're separated by so much distance on the page. You could do it however you want. And the point of this is just to have fun. So do what makes you happy. Birds are singing this morning. I know sometimes on some of my videos you can hear birds and sometimes you can't, but they are going at it. They sound beautiful. Probably should have left the tape on until I finish this, but there it is. Just so I would kind of know where that line is. We're kind of faking it, but it's all right. And like here, I didn't go over the line, but here I'm kind of, go over the paint, I should say. But here I kind of am going over the paint because I was like, well, it's so faint. I really don't want to act like there's something there. And as you can see, I'm just not even doing my pattern in any kind of consistent way. I'm just drawing. I'm not following any. I'm just slanting some and doing some straight and slanting some the other way. But what I like about this is the difference in the lines, because you've got a really thin line here, then you've got a dot, and then this is a thicker line. And I think that's what makes it fun to me, fun to look at, or fun to do even, is when you don't have, everything's not all samey. So that's what appeals to me. That's what my eyeball goes, ooh, that makes me happy. You got to do what makes your eyeballs happy, or what scratches that brain itch in you. So, you know, this is just meant to be ideas, a jumping off place for you or me, or for the future me when I come back and go, I want to do something bigger. And it also practices just a little, you know, that daily art practice that I like to have that works on eye-hand coordination. Yes, I can talk. But it also works on muscle memory and things like that. So that once you do this a lot, your hand gets used to doing a pattern or drawing a line or pushing versus pulling. I've talked about that before. I typically like to pull, like I just did, but I'm trying to make myself get better at pushing. It's not about precision, it's just about detail, but it makes me happy. All right, so let's put that away. Let's go back to the Sharpie. And I'm debating like putting a ring around the circles, but like to just outline them like in that 2, because that 2s are really small. Remember, the smaller the number, the smaller the nib. The bigger the number, the bigger the nib. I'm debating like putting like a little line, or like outlining them, just to. I think I'm going to. In fact, I think I might grab out of my. Where is it? I have a size 1. I have smaller than a 1. I've got some 1s and I've got some. There's another set. These are. I think you can get most of these at the big box store. These are fine liners. It's a set. And if not, I know you can get them on Amazon, and it gives you the whole range. It gives you from a 0.8, which is quite big. I've been using, this is a different brand. This is called Statler. I've been using a 2, which is that guy. But this has got ones that are even smaller. This is a 0.1, and this is a 0.05. So I'm thinking about maybe pulling these guys out. And let's see. Let's try a point. You know what? Let's try a 0.05. I'm not usually good with these super teeny nibs. And I mean, this is a super teeny nib. I'm trying to see if that'll focus very well. I'm afraid it's not doing a great job here, even with my hand in the way. But what I'm going to do here is because I tend to crush the super teeny nibs because I'm just heavy-handed. But I sure like how that looks. And I'm just tracing the organic shape. I'm not forcing it to be a circle. I could, kind of like I did circles here. But let's do one that way and see if we like that better. Oh, I kind of like the circle shape better, even when it doesn't fit the size of the blob that I painted. I don't know. Do I like that better or do I like the other better? The organic shape better. I'm going to continue to play around with this for a second and see. I think I like the organic shape better. Well, because some of these blobs are not even close to being a circle. All right, so let's see like this one where it's close to being a circle, I like it, but this one where it's like more oval, I don't like it as much. I'm just kind of, obviously I'm not being consistent with it, but you know what? So what? And these are super dark. I'm not even sure if they're going to show up. These guys up here that were where I put the big blob of water. So I'm going to exaggerate the circle and go a little outside of it. I like adding line work and detail to my pieces when I'm done, because I like it feels more finished. Some people, there's a type of watercolor called line and wash, and it's irrelevant whether you wash for, paint then line or line then paint. To me, I'm sure there's others who say no, that's the wrong way to do it. But line and wash is I used to think that the watercolor was supposed to stand on its own. You paint it and there it is, it's done. And if you're a good watercolorist, I'm using bunny ears there, that it doesn't matter. It should not have line there. It should not have any kind of pen work. And so for years I didn't add any pen work to anything I did, and I always felt like they were incomplete. And that's one of the things about being an artist, is finding, all right, what appeals to you? Forget what somebody else says. What do you like? What does your eyeball go, oh, that's pleasing to me, or oh, I like that. That's what really should matter. All right, so that, I like those. We're going to leave that for the moment. I did a combination of organic and circle, but all right, back to the Sharpie and the dots. I'm a little all over the place today. We can live with that. Sometimes my hand gets tired doing the same thing over and over. Do you ever find that? And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes, ooh, this is very satisfying. Let's keep doing more. See, I'm not liking how patterny that is. See how non-patterned this is? One way to achieve that is to kind of just jump around. And so here, I'll show you. So here I've got a real big, I'm going to bring this camera down a little bit. I should have done this before. One way to achieve a random pattern is to not work in the same area. So I'm going to make a dot up here, and a dot up here, and a dot over here, and go side to side, and start kind of filling in like that. And then I'm just going to keep going. And then backtrack, do the cha-cha, and then go forward a little bit, and then go cha-cha back. I go forward 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, then back 1, 2, 3, 4, and just let your pen go. Don't overthink it. Forward, 2, 3, 4, back, 2. I'm not done. 3, 4. And then I'm going to come back down here and go, okay, forward, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, 4. See how I was getting really patterny here, and then now it's much more random. And then then when you do a final pass, you can go through and go, well, that's kind of missing one, and that's kind of missing one. But let's go here, forward, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, 4. See, much better randomness when you do it that way than when you start just kind of filling as you go. And it's more fun too to kind of skip around, and it doesn't back 2, 3. And you can do it with 3s. You don't have to go back 4. If you find yourself going, oh, I don't have room for another one, don't do it. But I try to go forward a couple and then back up and do a couple and then come back and then keep going. Go forward. Always go forward. That's the point, right? Keep it going forward. Yeah. Trying not to put my hand in this because I'm unsure how well this is going to soak into the paper. It's watercolor paper, so it should soak in pretty quickly, but this is where you might get a paper towel or something and put under your hand to make sure you're not smudging. Or maybe you let it dry and come back. Do a section and go do something else. And you can make it very Dalmatian-y, or you can make it kind of sparse. This is feeling like a Dalmatian, but I like it. I like the graphic nature of the high contrast with the black against the light blues and greens. And the thing about making a sketchbook to me is it never has to be done. It just has to be done for now, right? You can keep coming back to this page over and over and go, I want to add more of this. I'm grabbing that same pen. I'm going to come up here and do those little, and you can keep coming back to it and saying, it needs a little more something here. That's kind of and I used to think I had to finish a page in one go. A couple days ago I posted a video about some bluebirds that I had done a pattern on watercolor, and I loved them when I did them, and then I came back to them later and I went, they don't feel finished. So I added some doodles on top in white, and boy, do I love them even more now. And I may come back to those later and add something else. I don't know. Ooh, I was off camera. I am so sorry. That's the danger of bringing it down close so you can see what I'm doing, is then I sometimes then forget to pay attention to if I'm on shot in the camera shot or not. All right. And I'm just making this up as I go. And I can see that's wet, so I'm going to be real careful to let that dry. And here's the other thing. I'm getting real sloppy right here. So I have two choices. I can finish it and be done, or I can come back to it later and get one of my hands feeling a little less, I don't know, tired or whatever it is I'm experiencing right now. But I'm going to finish it. because that's what I want to do. Is I only have an inch left. I am not going to come back to this part in an hour and go, okay, let's finish that part. I am really close to being done, so we're going to, okay, boom. All right, let's back up a little bit. I feel like it needs some more white still. Okay, so white. What if we did, what if we did this and we did what? Some doodly doos. Maybe you want to try not to have too many white pens going at once because they can sometimes dry up on you. I'm just going to do squigglies here. Because what I like is not having the same type of line. I've got straight lines, I've got round lines. Now I'm going to do squiggly lines. That's a very technical term, squiggly. But it adds texture. And all that means is your eye thinks it's fun. You know, people use these real fancy terms. I'm like, what the heck? Just use regular old people terms, right? Not all of us are classically trained in art. We just know our eye likes something or doesn't like something, as the case may be. I just learned something. If I lay my pen on the side, I was trying to make it where you could see what I'm doing. I got a really tiny line, but if I go straight up and down, I get a really bolder line. Huh. Ain't that interesting? Done. The white gel pen is one of those things that like eluded me for a long time was a good finding a good white gel pen. I'm very relieved to have several that I like to use. This is my favorite, the Uniball Signo. This one's not bad. Jelly Roll. They come in different sizes. There's a 10, there's an 8. I think I've got a 7 around here somewhere. Yep, here's the 7. Nope, 5. Like I said, a 5. These aren't bad. I like those pretty well. These by Papermate, they're pretty good too. They're called Ink Joy, and they're a 0.7, and it says they're bright. And I'll use one of those here in a second. They're not bad. It's one of those things where it kind of scratches on the paper a little bit, where the Uniball is super smooth. And I'm not trying to influence anyone, but if you're in the market for a white gel pen and you're looking at all the different choices, this one's my favorite. Not that my opinion matters, but now you've heard it. And I don't know, but you can't hear it at all as it's moving along the paper, which that's kind of a requisite for me. I don't like hearing it like under the paper. It's just nails on a chalkboard for me. So I tend to favor the pens that are very smooth and fluid, and this one is. That other Uniball I was using earlier, the black one where I did these lines, I think that's a similar, it's the same company, but I think it's a similar, I can say that word. It's similar in formulation, is my opinion about that, in the ink. Okay, so this is going to be kind of quirky going up this little side here. We're just going to kind of pretend that was something and just go on our way. It's nice because it glides right over this watercolor. Watercolor doesn't have a lot of texture to it, but sometimes with acrylic inks and stuff, that's when the Posca pens come in handy, because this gel formulation does pretty well, but every once in a while it doesn't go very well over top of acrylics. So you just have a little jar full of them. I just keep a little jar on my desk with various gel pens. Uniball has started coming out with, at Christmas time I noticed they came out with a red and a gold, and then recently, I assume in light of Valentine's, which we're past now, but pink and purple, and I'm just waiting to see if maybe they come out with some spring colors. What else would they come out with, though? I mean, yellow? I don't think so. Green? Okay, I could deal with a green. A green and maybe a blue. I've already got the pink and purple. They just come out with a whole dang set already, why don't you? But whatever. They didn't ask me. I'm not their marketing team. I keep my opinions to myself. Well, mostly. Anyway, I'm just kind of adding textures and lines, and I think the whole point of this little watercolor exercise is just to give yourself a sampler in a way later, that when you're doing something you don't quite feel it's finished, maybe you flip to you're through your book like this, your little sketchbook, and go, okay, I can add some white wavy lines, or I can add some black dots, or, you know, it's just kind of a reminder. Remember those samplers that your grandmother or your great-grandmother used to do when you were a kid and had all the stitches on it, and they were just beautiful in and of themselves? But that's what those were. They were just a needlepoint reference, right? Well, I kind of think of this book in a way as a reference of what I like and some things I don't like. This, for instance, not a big fan. Not a big fan of these lines. Not a big fan. Yeah. You just, so, things that work and things that don't work. But it's fun to play with your art supplies, right? Even if you don't have a project in mind. It's great to be able to get in here and make some things and make some practice pages, and then when you've got an idea, like I'm working on some Easter ideas right now, then you can pull this out as a resource maybe. I'm rambling. Okay, white doodles are done. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, I think I'm gonna grab a Posca pen or two. I put them away from the other day, probably shouldn't have. I'm gonna grab my favorite, which is the, oh, this one doesn't have a label on it. This is my favorite size typically, which is the PC5M. I use this the most, probably, of all of them. Oh, I'm gonna grab the other one too. I also have a new favorite. It's not new, I haven't bought it recently, but I just started using it more, and that's this guy. And it's PCR1MR. Sorry, I can read. PC1MR. Now this is a bullet tip. You've seen these before. Big fat bullet tips. And I'm klutzy as heck. These are great for polka dots. Big polka dots or big stripes. This guy is a felt tip. Kind of like your felt tip pen. And I really like him for doing detail work. So I'm going to shake both of these guys up and get them activated and get them all remixed. I haven't decided what I'm going to do precisely, but these two are going to be similar. The difference is that this is a gel formulation and this is an acrylic paint. And what that means is if your gel isn't showing up, try this. Your acrylic will work on whatever it is your gel isn't sticking to. That's all. All right, so let's try to let's just play around with some dots maybe. inside these little guys and see if they're interesting or if I hate it. No, I usually like dots, so I can't imagine I'll hate this. I think it's going to look better on the darker, but we're not going to quibble. Or maybe we will. I know that I want to add a lot of layers to this, doodle layers I should say, to this piece. I want to make it a bit of a sampler. I'm not a Zentangler, but I can appreciate the idea of patterns and what have you. All right, now let's take this guy, and I'm trying to decide, maybe I want to do something a bit here, but what? Like, do I want to do like maybe dots up this side and make it look like a pinstripe with dots? Yeah. And that's the wonderful part about, I think, a sketchbook, like the sketchbook series, or just having one and not being worried about, see, I make my own sketchbooks, and that way they're not expensive. I buy a pad of paper, I break it down, I bind it, I slap my own cover on it. This is stuff I've collaged myself and put on. And then I return to the middle page, not the first page. Turn to the middle page so that I'm not intimidated by the first page being, you know, not my favorite. And by the time I get to where I've filled up a lot of the book, I don't know, I've warmed up to the first page. But anyway, I'll turn to a middle page and just start playing around with stuff. And it just gives you the freedom to just do. Now, I don't do enough. I preach a good talk. I talk a good talk. I don't always walk it. Some days I have to really kick myself in the butt and say, stop being lazy and open your book. But my point is that I think as I sit here and play with patterns, I have a book that I started during the pandemic, and I still haven't finished it. It's a sketchbook, and I keep adding to it, and I keep going back to it, and I don't consider it finished. Well, there's blank pages, to be fair. And the blank pages are still things, there's still things I want to do and explore patterns, and it's mostly black and white. And I've only done the first half, like this side. I haven't done the back half. This other, the opposing page, which I'm going to do those, but I'm down to like the last. It's a pretty big book. I bought it a long time ago. It's spiral bound. And so I started it during the pandemic, and every night I'd sit down and do a doodle. I did a doodle. But anyway, you can see from this posca, it's making pretty, and I'll lift up the book to the camera here in a second. It's making pretty small little dots here. And those dots are just fun. I love them. And I may come back and do some more lines or some circles or something else, but that's just it. You just keep adding to it as you go. And then the page will tell you when it's done. But I do like these felt tip poscas. I think I'll be getting these in, not every color. I don't think I need the rainbow. I think I just need red, not red. Gosh, where did red come from? I've got the white, obviously. I think I want to get the black, maybe a gold, maybe a silver. I don't know. I might jump on Amazon and see. I know I said the words. Jump on Amazon. I'm trying not to do that. Use my stash. But I may see if there, I know I can go to my, I have an art store downtown called Sam Flax, and they sell open stock poscas that aren't terribly expensive. I think Michael's has them too, but Michael's charges an arm and a leg for them. Okay, so there's the super. I'm going to try to get up here and then be still. If it will focus. I don't know if you can see those dots very well. I apologize. I'm trying to keep the background out. but at the same time show you the dots. Let's see. Can we do it? Anyway, mix really tiny dots, which are kind of fun, kind of interesting. So I've got some white blank space here, which I need to do some black with, or want to do some black with. And did I try this? Did I do this pit pen? I don't think I did. What if I did? This is the one with the little chisel tip on it. I wonder if I did just like some stripes, but because see, I've got stripes going this way, I might do them going this way instead. Let's see. Wonder if I did it. Oh, I hate this. I don't know. Ooh, that tip was a lot softer than I expected it to be. Thought it'd be more firm. Probably a good idea to test your pen on a piece of scratch paper before you start. But this is a scratch paper. This is a sketchbook. But just in case you're not doing it in a sketchbook, probably a good idea to test it somewhere. Then I'll probably come back and add some circles to this or something else. I don't know. Maybe I should have done circles here. But I did dots here, which is okay. I'm mumbling, I'm rambling. If you notice, I'm also kind of connecting them to these lower, the white. That's the lower version. Okay, well, don't love it, don't hate it, but that just means I need to add more, right? All right, well, I think I'm going to stop here for now. You get the idea. I'll probably continue on, maybe today, maybe not, and add more to the blue layers that don't have anything yet. I'll leave some of them solid. I may go back and add more to this black layer I just did, or maybe more to this white. I just let it speak to me and let it tell me what it needs. But that's kind of what I'm doing, playing around in my sketchbook. And I hope you had fun. I hope maybe you will break out a sketchbook or two and swirl some paint and get your pens. But thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.